I've had my Ford Maverick now for 8 months. I've done 5,300 miles in it. So what's my ownership experience been like? Has it been a good truck? Has it been faithful? Has it been reliable? Does it do everything that I thought initially a Ford Maverick would do? Let's talk about it. Of course, speaking of truck stuff, I had to bring it to the Home Depot parking lot where pickup trucks belong to make this video for you. No, this isn't sponsored by Home Depot. Home Depot in the future, if you want to sponsor me, reach out. So initially I picked the Ford Maverick because I needed a pickup truck to do pickup truck things. I wanted 4 full doors so I could put my kids in the back or my tools or whatever. And I wanted something that got incredible gas mileage. I still think there is nothing else on the market available today that does everything this truck does. There's a couple other hybrids out there, there's a couple other small trucks out there, but nowhere is it put together in a combination like this. The previous truck I had 4 doors, but they were like the suicide doors, you know, that opened on the inside like this. And so it meant that loading and unloading the truck was an absolute pain. This makes it so easy to have 4 actual doors that you don't have to open the front door to access the back door, and everyone is just independent. If you got an extended cab F-150 with those kind of doors, you know what I mean. And so of course I opted for the Lariat spec because I thought, you know what, this is gonna be a nice daily driver for me. It's gonna be an insulated cocoon that gets me 20,000 miles a year almost to different job sites all over the state of Arizona, potentially even California or Texas or Colorado. So let's get something that's nice. You got a more insulated windshield, you got a nicer stereo, you got an interior that's nicer. Everything seems nicer about the truck. Let's go ahead and get it. What I didn't realize at the time was that for the 2024 model year, you can't opt in or out of the Lariat luxury package. If you get a Lariat, you get the luxury package. So I didn't even want that. But because I still wanted some of the Lariat features, I actually had to pay like $3,300 extra just to get into this truck. Configuration problems, right? Outside of that kind of thing, what's it actually been like to live with for 5,300 miles? It has been basically perfect. I mean, a brand new vehicle with only 5,000 miles on it, it should be perfect, right? I've had no reliability issues. I've had the one recall I made a video about, which was like some turn signal issue, which I haven't even dealt with yet. I'm not that worried about it, frankly. The mileage has been incredible. I've only gotten 1 oil change. I got an oil change at about 900 miles, just to make sure there's no mechanical issues that could potentially ever result from new break-in miles on a new engine. If there's any pieces of metal or something in the oil pan, I wanted to get those out, flush it out, make everything perfectly clean. And now because I'm gonna sell this truck, I've made it clean for the next owner. Basically everything that I hoped would be true about this truck has come true. It is really nice to drive. It is way quieter and more rigid than my F-150 was, or probably any body on frame vehicle is. When it's a unibody design, it's got to be more rigid, right? And that comes across in ride quality, in smoothness, in handling. Everything about it is just more taut than a body on frame style. Of course, the bed is tiny. I mean, you can't really get around it. A 4'4" bed is not as capable as a 5 or 6 foot bed. I understand the kind of the marketing that went into this. I understand why it needs to be small. If anything, that's potentially the biggest hindrance for you if you want to use this for big truck stuff. Of course, I made the video about the plywood test. So sheet goods, 4x8 material fit in here really easily. That's not a problem for the truck. The problem comes in things that are really long or really awkwardly shaped, where you've got both a narrower bed and a shorter bed. So if you want to like move somebody's full-size mattress around or load this up with furniture because you're moving across country, or have some really long product like some metal or some unistrut or something hang out the back, it's just really not great for that. If you know you're gonna do that, I'd say a trailer or a roof rack is the way to go. And still, 95% of the time, you're still gonna get the benefits of the Maverick. It's easy to park, it's easy to drive, it's easy to get 50 miles per gallon in. So I think it's still worth it. You know, compared to a full-size truck like a lot that are running around this parking lot right now, you're gonna save a few $100 a month in gas, so it could pay for something like a trailer or a roof rack pretty easily. I am a little surprised at some things that I just never used. I never got around to them, I never needed it. Namely, the sliding rear window, I used once. I had a big long roll of building wrap that I needed to use, and so I shoved that inside the truck instead of having it hang out the back. Otherwise, I never used the window. Thought I would. The other thing that I was sure that I would use, that I literally never got around to using, is this plug in the bed, which is a shame because it seems really handy. This light in the bed, I think I've used a couple of times, but also I'm just so used to not having a light in the bed that I never even got used to this. If you get one of these trucks, or if you have one now, let me know how you use this. I don't know what circumstance I would have needed power in the bed. Maybe to charge a tool battery. I could have seen that happening. But otherwise, what are you doing out here? You're cooking food? Are you camping? What's happening? Seems useful, planned on using it, I never did. But now let's talk about things that I had no idea would be as useful as they were. Namely, this little speed rail system, whatever you call this. This is extremely handy. I was not that impressed with the look of it. I thought, look, I've already got these tie downs up here. Plus I've got tie downs in the bed. Like, what is the point of this? I've never needed them in the past. When you have it, it's really nice to use it. You can slide it to be in whatever position you want based on the stuff that you're tying down, because if it's really big, you want it up here. If it's not as big or you want it in the middle of the tie down, you can put it here. And also what I didn't realize you could do is you could actually hook your tie down onto this and then move it to tighten it a little bit more. So if you ratchet everything down and you're like, it could be a little tighter, move it over a notch or two. It's so handy. Something else I didn't know that I would like as much as I do is the under seat storage in here. I had tie downs in here, jumper cables, a few just useful things. I'm gonna clean this out as I'm getting ready to sell this truck tomorrow. And there really is still a ton of room. Despite the battery being right there, despite it being a small truck, there is a lot of room under here. The only problem with this is that if you've got kids' car seats, you can't access it. So a couple different times I needed tie downs and I couldn't reach them because I had the kids' car seats here. But this is really an incredible, very handy little storage space if you can access it. One more tie down, I forgot in there. One other thing that I learned about this truck that I didn't expect to feel was when I got back from this trip that I took to drive at these two racetracks, the Nürburgring and at Spa. I was in sports cars the whole time. And a sports car driving position is quite different than a truck driving position. But because whenever I bought this truck, I'd only been driving trucks for so long, it never occurred to me that this thing had a very upright, very kind of I'm up high, the steering wheel is down low, school bus kind of driving position, but it really does. When you compare this to something like a Porsche Cayman or an M2 or something else like that that is a sports car, you are very up high, very upright. Everything about the truck is very like right angle compared to those cars. And whenever I got home, I was like, I need the seat to be lower. So I've been pushing on this power seat button trying to get it lower and I can't. And granted, I fit, like I'm 6'5", I don't actually need more space, but somehow my legs feel a little bit tight. My head feels a little bit tight. I wish I was sitting more lower slung, more like a sports car seating position now, just because I'm a little bit more used to that. For a vehicle to use every day, for a truck, there's nothing wrong with it. It just has that kind of utilitarian seating position. Also, thus far, all the buttons and stuff have held up really well. I was a little bit afraid of like wearing off a steering wheel button or wearing off another button down here. Granted, I've been nerdy enough to be careful to not actually push the label of the button. I've only pushed around the label, just on like the solid black part of the button. So I didn't test it out in that way, but I've been trying to make it last and trying to make it look good for forever. But so far, I see no wear and tear on any of the controls, any button anywhere. I've got some finger smudges on the touchscreen, but that's to be expected. And otherwise, everything is held up really great. I think in the end, what I'm gonna miss the most about this truck is just the insane mileage you get. If you have the hybrid battery charged up from the way you've been driving recently and you hop in, I mean, you can go your first mile on pure electric if you're really careful. And even then, if you're not careful, if you're absolutely belligerent and you drive like an 18-year-old, you're still gonna get probably 38 or 39 miles per gallon. And so the sheer running costs of this being so low is really, really amazing. Even on longer road trips, like my road trip that I took from Phoenix to Tucson and back, it still got really good mileage. I wanna say it was like 39, but especially around the city, it is not hard to get 45 miles per gallon. If you actually think about it and you try, you can get over 50 basically most trips. And for a truck that you could potentially have a bunch of junk in the back and have 4 people in here and do all the things you would normally do with a truck, that is incredible. So to a degree, I am bummed to see this thing go because it's been so faithful. It's been exactly what I thought it would be. And now I've got to sell it. And if you're curious to know exactly why I'm selling a vehicle that I've only owned for 8 months, then you can watch this video next where I go over all the reasons exactly why that is. It's been a really good truck. I'm going to experience a bunch of depreciation, but it's the right move. So watch this video next to see exactly why. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye.